What's up, loves? What's up? How are you guys doing? Hope all is well with you. Hope you're feeling amazing. You're getting through, passing the test, doing what you need to do. Ignoring the bullshit. And embracing the good shit, respectfully. Because that's what it's about at this point. So, I'm coming on here today to do a quick starseed check-in. I don't have my tarot cards, but I do have channel messages that I may shuffle at the, if I feel led, let me say it like that. We'll see what wants to come out, but I've already heard very clearly that the purpose of today's video is for me, as your tribe person, as your tribe leader, to remind you. Take it easy on yourself. Okay? And this message is specifically, it's for anybody who is a starseed, anybody who resonates with the message, of course. But in particular for my people who are starseeds and for my people who are currently going through their dark night of the soul, right? And the last starseed check-in, I was led to talk about this, the great severing and how these things would happen, these certain relationships that, may have always been a part of your life, things that have felt so familiar, whether it be family, friends, whatever. However, even if it's not a person for some of you guys, like situations just, having to, and y'all excuse me, like I'm traveling right now, so I'm taking my break for the night, and yeah, I had to record this video. Anyway, you are safe and protected as you receive this message. Now let's get into it, okay? So we talked about last time the great severing and how, if you are a starseed, if you are on this journey to be a curse breaker, a first goer, whatever, however you want to label yourself, there's going to come a time and place in life to where you're going to have this separation from everything and everyone who feels familiar to you. And especially if, this is somebody who is not, working with you towards your, your greater you, your higher version of you, right? So a lot of times it'll all happen at once, right? We have what's like this tower moment to where, like I talked about last time, overnight, it just seems like everything is just so different, right? And as I assured you last time, and I will assure you again, it's supposed to happen this way, okay? What I'm sensing intuitively is that, and this is intuitively, and then it's like, okay, I can understand why, because I know at a certain point for me, I felt these feelings too, right? And there's always this sense of feeling as though, not that you've done something wrong, but it's always this question as to, okay, did I do it right? Did I do everything the way I was supposed to? Did I say the right things? And for however this plays out for you, like this great severing, it could be a conversation that happens that turns into like this weird argument, and then it's like boom, split, and you're just replaying the argument over and over in your mind, like, did I say something wrong? And no, you didn't, number one. But number two, this could have been something that was like any other day, right? Like something that maybe you and this person would regularly kind of get into it, or have this like weird toxic back and forth thing. But this time it was like boom, it was just this dramatic ending that was tied to it, okay? And that's just one example. However it has worked out for you in your life to where this severing has happened, And you are now officially in the dark night of the soul, right? And what do I mean when I say that? You are in the position to where, nothing in life now is like it was. And you feel as though you have no sense of direction as to like where it's supposed to go, how it's supposed to look, what you're supposed to be doing, right? And like I said in the last video, I got a little bit more into, that part of it. But essentially, we are learning how to, lose control in certain areas and take control in other areas, right? In which 9 times out of 10 for us is losing control in what happens in this, 3D realm, right? And it's taking control of our inner gifts, connecting with God, connecting with the God within us. Therefore, we can understand how to, really create the reality that we desire in this realm, right? It's not going to come in the way of the way everybody else does it, right? The way that we're taught in this matrix understanding of living to do things. It doesn't work for us. It never has, never will, okay? And even with that, I want y'all to understand, and this is the point of this video, okay? Because it's like, some of y'all may be in this space to where it's like, okay, what was familiar to me wasn't comfortable, right? But now that I'm separated from it, I'm still not comfortable because I'm feeling like I'm walking through darkness, the dark night of the soul. I feel like I'm walking through darkness, but I want you to understand that, think about the dynamics here. It's almost like the thing when they talk about, it's insanity to keep doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting the same results, right? So the one thing that we know for sure is whatever and whoever we were separated from was not the way, okay? Regardless of what the next step is, that wasn't it. We know that. Everything within our physical man, within our spiritual man, energetic, emotional, every person, every part of us agreed, right? At some point that this was not it. And once we agreed, what happened was in the physical realm, it began to manifest that separation, that severing, right? Because in a lot of ways, so many ways that you can look at it, but the way I want to talk about it today is that God was starting to see that you were at the place to where you could grasp and understand now why you could not be attached to these people, right? And this is a process. Okay, moral of this story, moral of this video, moral of this check-in is to remind you that this is a process. I don't care how fast things came crumbling down for you. And I know sometimes, I can relate to y'all so much. I don't care where we are in this process. As long as y'all walking with me, y'all gonna understand that I will never be in a position to where I cannot relate to being in that process. I'm not gonna be one of the people that's just like, oh, just do this and you'll be okay. No, baby, I want you to hear me when I say, because some of the things that we say as advice to people, it may sound cliche because people have not grasped the concept of what's being said. But when I talk to you, before I say this thing and you just get to deeming it as cliche or whatever, let me let you know that I understand exactly where you is. I want you to really hear me, right? And when you, just like anybody else here, if you feel like somebody is really able to relate to you in a different type of way, you're more prone to listen to what they have to say to you and to share, your true feelings with them so you can get clarity and understanding. So that's what I'm here for, right? So I will always, it's not that I'm not healed from it or nothing, but I will always remember my process. Why? Because it was a roadmap for anybody that comes after me to help them through, to help them understand. And it's a sense of anchoring and humility as I begin to elevate. I understand, these lessons that come so second nature. At one point in time, these were things that I cried and I prayed to God about to help me to get it in my mind. Right? So that's why I say to you, And just like I had to say to myself when I was going through the process, this is a process. You have to be gentle with yourself throughout this process. You have to allow yourself to understand that you are exactly where you're meant to be. I don't care how dark it is. I don't care how crazy it is. I don't care how unstable it feels for you right now. I don't care how scary it may be. I don't care how unfamiliar. You are exactly where you're meant to be. Okay? And I also want you to understand that in this space, everything that is within you is being, I'm gonna say, undone. I guess that's the best word I could use for it. Everything within you is being undone right now. So it's okay to feel confused. It is okay to ask God questions. It is okay to vent and express to God, or to, I'm going to say to God, how angry or upset or sad or scared or whatever. It's okay to express that to God. The one part of this process that is not okay, out of all the things that and that's just when I tell you that it's such a shallow list of things, I'm trying to get the surface right now. But again, I know that there is going to be so many things depending on your individual situation, you as an individual, how you process things. This process is going to look different for everybody. But no matter what, at the bottom line of it all, the one thing that nobody can do, no matter how your situation is playing out, you cannot question yourself. You cannot question what God has led you to do. Okay? And again, I say this from a person who is removed from this dark night of the soul. And again, not so far removed, honey. The sun is just now beginning to really you get what I'm saying? I had peace throughout my entire process, simply because I reminded myself when my emotions wanted to get to the place to where it was just like overwhelming, and I did find myself wanting to question myself and my decisions. I just had to remind myself of the surety that I felt every time when I knew God was speaking to me, when I knew God was leading me to do something, to go somewhere, even when it did not make sense to me. Even when it did not fit into my realm of understanding, the capacity in which I could understand life and see life at that time. I always trusted God. I always trusted God. And I also, God had to change a lot of things within me in my dark night of the soul when it came down to understanding my worth. Right? This is something that is, there was a big master lesson to me. And this is something that I come to verbally, be an advocate for. And, timeless video whenever you see this, but at the time when I'm recording this, we are one day past, what is considered Easter, Resurrection Sunday, whatever. And, I lost my train of thought. Yeah. Anyway, I lost my train of thought. But yeah, so we're at the point now to where it was like, everything had to be questioned. Right? And like I was saying at first, one of my biggest master lessons was to understand my value. Right? That's why I was talking about Resurrection Sunday, right? So we talk about this whole sacrifice, and let me plug my phone up before it dies. that the ascended earth master Jesus came to do the sacrifices that he made for the sake of us to be able to live a certain way, to see ourselves a certain way. But what I always hated was that, in this religious light and realm and all it is, there was always this, oh my God, what just broke? Dang, I stay breaking my little moon ring, y'all. Broke another one. Anyway, there was always this driving home factor of, oh, you're not worthy enough. Nothing by deeds that you can do can get you to deserve the grace and the love and the mercy of God. And I'm like, cool, Old Testament days, right? But what was the point of Jesus coming if I was not supposed to understand what was left for me? If I was not supposed to appreciate and use and walk in the power and the light that was left for me? That was the entire purpose of Jesus coming, to live this life, to feel our struggle, just like we talk about again, the star seeds, right? In our own way, in our own community, we are ascended masters on this earth. We are earth angels. We are whatever you want to call it. But we are people who come here with a very, very, very specific mission. And it's not only pertinent to you in your life, but so many other people that are meant to follow you and follow your example. So there's just like, for me, I know all of these things that I went through, things that I haven't even revealed or talked about yet, but I know that it's all going to work for a purpose. It's all for somebody to grasp and get it, to understand and see like, oh, she did this and I understand, I can do it. But if people are like always looking at me and just like, oh my God, you just so strong, I just don't know how you can do it, and you're like, you don't even try, I'm offended. Because baby, don't have me down here going through all of this. I could have been back with my star family. You get what I'm saying? Like chilling with my ancestors, with my people. But no, I chose to come into this realm, into this lifetime, because of whoever I'm meant to help. So I always hated when people, had that mindset of just, oh no, I'm just not. And it just acts so powerless. And a lot of it, we're not going to get into it today. But that religion and that slavery mindset, how that all ties together, is a thing, honey. It's a thing. That was a weapon to keep people at bay, to keep the royal bloodline from bucking the system, because they know we would come through and set it off if we really, really, really stepped into the power in which God has given us. Okay? So saying all that to say, for me, once I understood it was bigger than me, I became an advocate for that. And not only an advocate through my words, but through my life. Y'all are going to see everything that I talk about, everything that I say to y'all, everything that I'm like, okay, just push through this, just, And I'm never a person that's like a one-way fits all. What I come with is the standard understanding. Like, this is something that, if we all tap into what's within us, you're going to be successful in your own lane, your own way, your own life. I ain't telling you got to eat at this place and do this and do. That's not how I get down. But I will say to you that whatever your struggle looks like, once you have made the decision to choose God and give your unconditional yes to a better life, then that means anything that does not support better in your life gonna have to roll. And you're gonna lose a lot, period. There's nothing, like, there's no other way that I could sugarcoat it to you. And just like, I am a person, when I tell you, I have had to start over, completely over, like from scratch, from nothing. And when I say nothing, I mean no clothes, no, no money, no vehicle, nothing. In every way I have had to start over, and several times. Because it was like certain situations I would be attached to or connected to, there was this understanding that it was something that was meant to be an enmeshment, right? It wasn't meant for me to just connect to it and, be stable, grow. No, it was something that would have been an attack. It would have tried to overtake me, right? So a lot of times it was just like, for me, once I have this understanding, and me and God, we cool, right? I don't question God in my life. I don't have any doubt as to when God is communicating with me. And most of y'all, once y'all go through this, this dark night of the soul, and you be like really lock into this process, you won't either. You will no longer question God. Number one, because you got all that other mess out of your ears. Them people are gone. But then you start to become more aware. When people talk about, oh, I'm woke now. Y'all have made that so cliche and just not, just worthless. But the true understanding of awakening is to understand that, bro, this life that I've been quote unquote living up until now was nothing. It was an entire facade in every way. And then all of a sudden, your attention is boom on this vast universe of messages and confirmations and things through every part of nature, through everything that's around you. That's always in some sort of way God communicating with you, directing your path, guiding you. So yes, there is this sense of an awakening that happens. And then you begin to understand God in a different light, in a different way. You begin to understand God for yourself. And that's why so many things have to be undone within you, because everything that was around you, everything that you were, taught. Here, like, I'm the best example, right? For me, when I first started, and I've talked about this before on my podcast, but when I tell you I dumped everything, not just religious things, not just rules and regulations, everything. I'm talking about down to the sky is blue. When I put it down, I'm like, the sky ain't blue. But when I go outside, I'm going to look up and determine for myself, not because my first grade teacher told me, not because my mama told me, none of that. I want to see it for myself, process it in my mind with my new cleared out mindset. And then if I feel within my subconscious, within my self of self, that the sky is blue, then cool, that's my truth. That's what we're going to roll with. And with everything in life, I did that. Because there was so much in my mind. Like, when I tell y'all, the mental clutter. And that's what's, for a lot of y'all, when y'all do have that great severing moment, even in the moments where it's like, I don't understand what's happening. Like, I don't get it. I it's not making sense to me. The one thing that is going to continue to make sense to you is how much peace you have. You're not going to be able to deny how much peace you have when you get all of that mess out of your mind, when you get all of them people out of your ear. When you remove yourself from the low vibrations, from the mess. And I promise you, whatever surety you had within yourself to get up and walk away, or however things played out to where like, I couldn't have set this up even if I tried. Like, it was literally out of my control. For some of y'all, it might have been a job situation, and you just walked in one day and they was like, yeah, we don't need you no more. And you like, 13 years I've been. But when God's like, nope, time up, let's go. Cycles are continuing to move. You got to get in the right space. You got to go and get this process started so you can get through it. And then come out on the other end of that cycle, healed, better, vibrating higher, more in tune with God, more in tune with your powers, more in tune with your light, and connected to your tribe who is depending on you so they can get through their dark night of the soul. You get how this thing keep going and going and going and going. These are the type of cycles we want to find ourselves in, not in this toxic mess. Okay? So again, congratulations to you for making the decision you need to make or allowing things to happen the way they needed to happen. Thank you for getting out of God's way. But now that you've done that, you have to trust that God has you through this process, okay? And yes, it is a process. It's not a punishment. It's not repercussions. It ain't none of that. It is a process. It is a development for you. It is an initiation for you in your life. And I promise you, in every way, no matter how it feels, no matter how it plays out, it is a beautiful process. It is an absolutely beautiful process. But you just have to tell your subconscious, remind your subconscious of this, okay? I did a lot of talking to my subconscious mind because I understood that the subconscious, which we also call the ego, is the part of us that governs the rules and regulations by which we live. Just like when you try to do something, say for instance, I'm trying to think of an example. Lord, what's a good example? Okay, something as simple as the way you bless your food or something, right? If you have it in your mind that if I don't bless this food, I'm going to get sick, or this going to happen to me, or that's going to happen to me. And then when you see other people like just digging into their food and you just like all of your sensors are just going off like, alert, alert, no, wrong, wrong. Like that is your subconscious that is constantly, applying that energy of whatever it is you believe. And that's why, when we talk about childhood traumas and things like that, when things were spoken over you as a child, when people said things to you, when you took on different truths, when people would hurt your feelings and it was something that stuck with you for a lifetime, when somebody really, tried to speak against a gift that was within you to keep you from using it, and to this day you still don't feel comfortable using it, and that's been however many years ago, that's because your subconscious took that on as your truth. And now every time there is something within your spirit, right? Because when we talk about this battle of the flesh and the spirit, right? In church terms, that's the subconscious versus the spirit man. In which the spirit man is automatically wired to understand not to move in fear. We're going to move in what feels natural to us. Because we know already that we are equipped to do, go, be, use, all of those gifts. But that subconscious is what's tied to this 3D. So it's constantly processing, right? As you're listening to people, as you're watching things, as you're connected to certain people, taking on their energy, whether it's consciously or subconsciously. Your subconscious man is absorbing all of that and it is applying it as your truth in everything. And the subconscious is always going to do its job, honey. Listen to me. If you were taught to be afraid of something, as soon as you see it, it's like your subconscious can like detect it a mile away. You be like, oh, what was that? Did y'all see that? Your subconscious does what it's supposed to do. But here's the thing, and here's how we get control, right? Lose all that control in the other areas of life, trying to govern how it's going to work. That ain't for you. But what your job is to do, which is a task, which is a process, again, is to train that subconscious person, to train that inner child. Think about your subconscious as your inner child sometimes. And I wouldn't even say that, because I think the inner child is more tied to the spirit person than it is that subconscious. The subconscious is more or less like your ego, right? And people want to say, well, you need an ego death. That, I don't believe in that. There's no such thing as an ego death. The ego is always going to do what it's supposed to do. But when you're talking about a person who is unhealed, insecure, imbalanced, then yeah, they're going to say things that comes off as assholey, or, this person just is arrogant or whatever, right? Because their subconscious is rooted in that nasty mess. So that's why their ego is so unattractive to people. But on the flip side, when you have a person that is very, very pure, very, warm in heart, it's because their subconscious, their ego, has trained them to say, no matter what, we're going to hold this light. We're going to hold this standard. So it's not about killing the ego. It's about training that ego, baby. You got to train it. And how do you train it? Affirmations. Speak life into yourself. Every place that somebody told you that you couldn't, that you're battling with now, because it's like your spirit man is telling you, yes, you can. You keep getting offers to do it. You keep, getting people coming to you saying stuff about it. You keep seeing confirmations. But because mama said, because daddy said, because this bully in school told me in 3rd grade that I couldn't, I've held on to this. So you have to go into that space and say, I can do X, Y, and Z. And I do it very well. I can be X, Y, and Z. And I am the best version of that. I give myself permission to. You got to speak to those spaces. And you speak the exact opposite of what it is that you are wrestling with, that your subconscious believes now. And I'm telling you, the more that you do it, and this is why I get up every day on my social media. I might miss a day here and there, but for the most part, I'm on y'all every day with these affirmations, because it takes a while, right? Think about it. When somebody told you that you couldn't, what did you do? You took that thought, you went to your room, you went wherever your little space was, and you processed it over and over again. You thought about it. Why would they say that I can't? Did I do something that made it seem like I can't? Well, I did kind of fail, so they must. You put some time into that. You thought about that. You thought about this for years, probably. So again, your subconscious is good and trained. Like, it knows, no, we can't do that. Period. Don't even try. Don't even try. But baby, just as easily as that was trained to, to think the worst, you can train your subconscious to think the best. So this is the why, this is the point of the process of this dark night of the soul. This is the point of the process. And this is why I say we don't have time to keep tap dancing with demons. When you say you done with something, be done with it, because whatever that is that you're wrestling with, that piece of darkness, is going to continue to feed your subconscious bad things. And that's going to continue to keep you in this rut and in this internal battle within yourself, within your mind, okay? It's a process that requires your faith in you and your faith in God. And at the bottom line of everything must be those things. And this was your reminder for today, okay? I want you to know that you are loved throughout your process. You are safe. All of your spirit guides, your angels, they want you to know that you are very, very safe in your process, no matter how unstable you feeling right now. Yes, it's unfamiliar, but that's the point. Because what was familiar to you was not for you. And you're realizing that. And you're going to realize it more the more you go through this process, okay? You're going to realize more about your personal value, who you are, who God wants you to be. You're going to realize, that you don't have tolerance or time for anybody who is going to work against that, or anybody who does not support you in that. And then you're also going to understand that you are able and capable to do, to be, to go, to say, to move, to grow, to glow, all of the above. In this process, don't tell yourself that you can't do anything aside from doubt you. I can't doubt me and I can't doubt God. Them the only two things that I cannot do at this time. Everything else, the options are endless. The possibilities are endless. And with God, nothing is impossible. Literally. With God within you, with God beside you, with God looking out for you, with God endorsing you, with God blessing you, nothing is impossible, okay? So you just have to work on getting every part of you aligned with that thought, with that understanding, because then you can use your manifestation power to produce and call forth good things in your life and not just be surrounded by all this depressed, overthinking, overworking yourself type energy. I hear very specifically that some of you guys are workaholics and God is really trying to pull you away from there. Yes, it's okay to be successful, to do your thing, make your money. But right now, honey, you are using that as an outlet to avoid this process. And God is like, nope, when you get off work, we still got to do this work. So put in the time for yourself, y'all. And I'm saying this as a person again. This ain't nothing. I get it to where it's like you kind of feel like, oh my God, like this is the last thing I want to do. Like you feel like it's supposed to be a punishment. But I promise you, the punishment would have been for you to stay in that mental abuse, to stay in those situations, to stay connected to those people. Not what's happening now. That's the process, not the punishment. That is the process, not the punishment. Let's see. Is there anything that wants to come out through the channel messages before I end this video? Seriously, y'all. Nurture yourselves. Nurture yourselves. Thinking not strange of anything that happens during this process. And understand that this is out of your control. You are not driving this train. The only thing you are doing is giving God permission to take you where you need to be. And doing what you're supposed to do in the process. And that, again, is going to be very, very clear to you. That ain't going to be nothing you got to go search. You got to try to figure out. It ain't got to be nothing you got to sit down, plan, pray about it, all of that. No. God going to give you that unction and that understanding like never before. And it's going to surprise you how much, how clear it is. But because, and here's the thing that always blew my mind, right? God has always communicated this clearly. But the difference in the way that I perceive it now and couldn't perceive it at all at first, lets me know how murky and dirty and unconducive the energy that was around me was, Y'all think it's just a light thing. And I'm going to continue to be an advocate for this in every video that I'm led to talk about this in. But y'all got to leave these people alone. Ain't no in and out. Ain't no I just go pull up and hit that every now and then. Ain't no that's my family, so I got to. Ain't none of that. God don't remove us from situations and from people for the hell of it. Like, I promise you, he does not. And anytime you're trying to continue to hold on to and walk in those same, dried up, washed up ways of doing things and thinking, you just pushing down the brakes on the train. Just stopping God from doing what needs to be done with you. So understand, sweetheart. Understand that this is a process. that is going to happen with or without your resistance. Let me say that one more time. This is a process that is going to happen with or without your resistance. Without your resistance can get you quicker, smoother results. Guaranteed. With your resistance, it's going to bring you painful friction marks within your spirit and possibly your physical man. Because again, we're going to make a video and talk about what these people that you've been connected to have been doing. We're going to tap into that one good time, because I told y'all I don't like the food with the past like that. We moving forward. But some of y'all I see are still torn between the two. So God needs y'all to see some things to help you get your life together, to help you make this decision, because time is money, baby. Time is growth. Time is productivity. And we're losing that as we resist. If it feels right, let it happen. If it feels right, let it happen. And this is what I was literally just saying. Don't resist. Some of y'all can see immediate change in your life when you stop resisting. For some of y'all, God has been telling you specifically to go do something. I hear to either connect with a certain person or connect with a certain organization. But in your mind, you're telling yourself for whatever reason that you are not worthy enough. You having this back and forth debate almost with God. It's like the windows of opportunity keep popping up for you to move into it. But because it ain't the way that you would normally control it, it ain't the way that you would normally set it up, it ain't the way that you used to things happening, it ain't how you exactly plotted and planned it, you don't know. You unsure. And I almost just got a whole attitude when I heard that. Because why? Why, y'all? You know? If it feels right, let it be. Let it be. God wants you to know that you have lucrative talents. There you go. I just said you've been encouraged to move towards the organization. Maybe this is a job for some of you. A job or situations where you're working with somebody, something. But whatever it is going to be something that is literally going to be, look, on the back, true loyalty. Something that is really, really going to be committed to your higher version. Like, this is something that is going to push you in the right direction, or someone that is going to push you in the right direction. And you're going to have this sense of true loyalty. The same loyalty that you've been trying to give to these other fools that God is asking you to let go of. And I wish I could get up off of that, but I can't, because somebody's still holding on. I feel that. But God is really trying to give you a sense of what true loyalty feels like beyond what you're giving people. But you ain't never even been in a position to where you could get it back. But now you are. God is positioning you for that. But you got to move on so that you can get these people. So that you can connect with these people. So these people can help you tap into your gifts even more. To make money off your gifts. To show you how to make money off your gifts. Look, you holding on to some damn fake friends. For what? Look at this. Universe busting y'all out. And this is why I just said I can't move past it. Because, I'm thinking like, okay, we in the dark night of the soul. So everybody, we moving forward. But no, somebody is still playing. It's like you right there in between them cycles. You got one wheel going this way and the other wheel going this way. And you about to get your arm, leg, foot, whatever you got that's still holding on in between. You about to get it caught up, broke up. You finna mess it up. For fake friends. Look, energy. You've been known within that energy that that's not for you. These people don't really like you like that. You've had a lot of signs to show you that already. So for some of you, I hear that you're still looking for this sense of closure or some sort of, extra justification. Baby, here's your extra justification on today. They are fake friends. Even if you don't have no hard evidence that they've done anything to you, if you've seen how they interacted with other people or how they've, talked about people outside of their presence to you or to other folks, honey, you are not exempt. They have talked about you, will continue to talk about you, will continue to use whatever business or information you're giving them as ammunition to keep you in this space to where you cannot move forward in your process. And it's not okay. It's not okay. Look, not yet. You can't even move forward. It's like you don't want to let go. What is it? Maybe this is something that you need to, really dive within yourself to figure out. Why is it so hard for you to let go of who or whatever this is? Or for some of you, I hear like you're so scared to begin this process, the dark night of the soul. You keep saying not yet, not yet. I'm telling y'all, whatever you're saying not yet to, the longer you wait, the harder it's going to be for you. Hear me out. Look, the choice is yours. God ain't going to make you do nothing. And if you keep out here, you keep asking God, just give me one more sign. One more sign. It's me. The choice is yours. Make it. Choose you. Choose God. God is trying to get you to the point to where he can have a soul conversation with you. But instead, what you want to do? You want to be somewhere singing the blues. Whew. Try. I was not supposed to be fussing on this video, but y'all about to get me started. Y'all better not be holding up this process. Trying to hold on to some fake people in your life. Let it go. Let it go. Listen, I hear as well, because the universe is busting y'all out at this point. If you are a person that's like, oh, I'm loyal to a fault, and you sitting up here telling yourself that you got to stay committed to something because you committed on this day a long time ago. But now we talking about you committed to a whole different person, the situation now, because they done a whole spin around on you. They done hit the exorcist head spin, like came around like, hello, my pretty. Like, this is a whole different situation. Baby, you are no longer committed to what you committed to at first. This is a whole different thing. So you staying committed to what this has become, baby, please reread the new terms and conditions. Because you shall not have the outcome that you were hoping for at first. And my biggest thing is, y'all know that. Stop asking God for a sign you already know. It has been shown to you. So ain't no more being loyal to a fault. Do what you be. If you're going to be loyal to a fault, be loyal to yourself. That was another thing that I told myself when I began my process, because I had done so much for other people. I had considered people so many other times in my life. And never to anybody that gave it back to me. So it was like always this one-sided thing to where I was just pouring out. And not to mention pouring out into people who didn't even believe in themselves. So it was like a hole in the bottom of the barrel, no matter how much I poured in, which is way more than what they poured in for their own stuff now. But it was all going in vain, and I'm feeling the void. Still to be, oh, you ain't doing enough. Oh, it's always something I can come back and try to emotionally manipulate you to make you feel like you could have, should have, would have. This is your fault. Baby, I got tired of that. And by the time it got to the point where I was like, I'm finna go do this for me, I got to see something real quick. All that pressure I applied to everybody else's kingdom, I got to give it to myself. I have to give it to myself. I had to give it to myself. So I dove into my process. Wasn't no looking back for me. And I don't expect everybody to be like me. I'm not saying you got to be like me. But what I'm saying is you got to complete the process once you started it. And if you're watching this video, then you understand this has resonated with you. You know where you are in your journey. Let it be. Let it be. Don't get lost in the sauce, baby. God's gonna guide you if you let him. Do it for the fans. Do it for the people that need you. Don't do it for the haters. Don't do it for them fake people. Forget them. You got people waiting on you to make the right decision. You got people waiting on you to complete your dark night of the soul so you can tell them how you made it over. Okay? You are a good investment. Investing in you, investing in who God created you to be is a good investment. Look, and even in your process, you too busy thinking about worrying about somebody else who is fake. Your ancestors are trying to communicate with you. Some of y'all are praying for a sign and the sign is there, but you won't even look at it. Word is bond. God is trying to introduce you to some people that understand what this means. He's trying to introduce you to people who are going to look out for you. Not just people that you're going to be responsible for looking out for, but they're going to in turn look out for you. This says follow your heart, not the money. If some of y'all are hanging on to a person that because, you know, you have some sort of financial comfortability with them or stability, baby, let that go. That money ain't everything, and that money can run out. And especially when you dealing with somebody who is not operating in a high frequency, their money is very, very likely to run out because they're not tied to abundance like you should be. When you follow your heart, when you invest in yourself, right? And think about an investment. Again, I love when these things line up when it's like a spiritual and a natural understanding, right? We just had the card that said investment, good investment. And investing in your heart, your internal person, right? Is going to in turn, when you get the good seeds and the good fruits from what comes within you, then you are able to manifest a good return in the physical realm. Forget these folks' little money. They can't buy your emotions. They can't buy your presence. They can't buy your time. Attention either. They can't afford it. Stop making them feel like they can by continuing to connect with them. Let that go. Look, they basic. We don't want that. Basic, honey. Basic. Make it make sense. Basic where? We don't do basic. Baby, for some of y'all got to come up out the struggle so y'all can help the other people out the struggle. Can't nobody tell nobody nothing in the struggle. But some of y'all got to come up out of this basic lifestyle, walk into your life of luxury so people can finally look at you and be like, But as long as you're there with them, they don't respect what you're doing. They don't respect what you're saying. Even if you feel like you staying connected to these people to help them. We done talked about this before. Their energy is going to pull you down before you're able to pull them up. That ain't your job. That's between you, them, and God. But how you help them is to come out of that basic energy. Invest in yourself, better your heart, and then begin to see how you manifest good and beautiful things. Because the inside of you is aligned.